Today you can find out about some interesting art in your neighborhood, or maybe be inspired to take a few dance classes. If dancing isn't your thing, how about horseback riding? After that, you can take a relaxing trip to downtown Pensacola. All that and more on this week's edition of
Hello, I'm Seth Patterson.
And I'm Sarah Richards.
And this is Argo News. Relay for Life started back in the mid-'80s and is still pushing to raise money for victims of cancer. Here's reporter Corinne Williams with more.
Relay for Life here in Pensacola holds an overnight event every year to raise support and awareness for cancer victims and survivors.
Relay for Life itself is the main event here in Pensacola, is the week of 9 to 10 May. But throughout the year, starting in October of every year, we start fundraising ahead of time so we can raise the money, and we can raise money until August 30th of each year. I got started, well, I would donate money to my mom and dad's Relay for Life. They live up in Greenville, Tennessee. My dad is a over 30-year cancer survivor. I think it's like 34 years right now. So I thought if I give them money, I might as well start a team here. So back in 2003, we started a team here at the church, Warrington Presbyterian. In fact, I'm not just a team captain, I'm also part of the committees. I've been up team retention and recruitment, so I try to get new teams involved and also keep the older teams there, and I've been doing that for 6 years. So I'm really involved in it, big time. Our team is called Cure Crazy, and it just was getting all the team members together. And what we did is we just kind of brainstormed together and wrote things down, and we picked one of one thing and one of another, and we came out with Cure Crazy. The most that we have raised is over $3,000, which I think is fantastic for a very small team of the church. Right now, our goal is $2,000. I try to keep $2,000 as a good goal, and we can always reach above that. Favorite part, I think, is the Luminaria service. That's where at 9 o'clock on the track, we have candles and bags all around, and the lights go out, very solemn service, and then we have the bagpipe going around the track playing Amazing Grace.
If you'd like to get involved or learn more about Relay for Life, visit relayforlife.org. I'm Corinne Williams reporting for Argo News.
You may not have heard about the Flying High for Autism conference and how it's helping to raise awareness, but Savannah Taylor has got you covered.
East Hill Academy is a major sponsor behind this year's Flying High with Autism conference. What does that actually entail?
This is our first year to help sponsor it, and we were delighted that we were asked to do that. I have known Anita for several years now, Anita Lesko, and was aware that she was diagnosed with autism later in life. I think it's a perfect pairing of the two because obviously she's been very successful in her life, in her career, and having had autism, and as a school, that's part of what we want to make sure our students are able to become successful in what they do. And it also helps give families hope. The goal is always to to get more awareness, and not just awareness, but to educate people in the community. East Hill Academy takes on educating our children and our families. While we do community work when there's an opportunity for us to do so, the goal with Anita is to really represent, we have a lot in this community, positive, that deals with autism, and I would like for the community, as well as Anita would like for the community, to be aware of it. There's so much more happening here that maybe some of our friends and families are unaware of. Anita's foundation is the Flying High Autism Foundation, and so when she went to name the conference last year, which was the first year that we've had it, she just, used the foundation name, and it just seemed like it was a perfect thing. The idea behind it this year is that all of the guest speakers are going to talk about and demonstrate practical tools that they have learned over the years that have helped them be successful in their life. The speakers are they're world-class speakers from all over. They have all been very successful in their life, and parents need to see that when your child gets a diagnosis of autism, it is not the end of the world.
For more information or to purchase tickets, go to easthillacademy.org. I'm Savannah Taylor reporting for Argo News.
As the City of Pensacola and local citizens work to revitalize some districts in the downtown area, one art center is bustling with activity. Here's Sarah Richards with a look.
I'm here at the First City Arts Center tonight. It's a little bit loud, but they're going to be having a glass blowing demonstration, a few live bands, and even some local brewers tonight. I'm excited to get in here and get started.
Hot Glass Cold Brew is one of our biggest fundraisers, and we do that 4 times a year. And we have glass demonstrations, glass blowing, pottery demonstrations, sculpture, and a bunch of cool glasses to pick from that were made by volunteers here. And we also have beer. That's probably one of the more intriguing parts. Pensacola Bay Brewery and the Escambia Bay Homebrewers Association come, and when you come in, you get to pick a glass, and you have all the beer you need and food. We have guest chefs come every time. And this time we're having a spring bling sale for pottery and glass out in the classroom, which is kind of unique. And so every time we do a little bit of something different, but it's always kind of, you got the beer, the food, the demos.
The First City Arts Center presented to the City Council in 2012, saying that the center would provide cultural enrichment to the Long Hollow neighborhood. Mayor Ashton Hayward approved the Arts Center to lease city property that had been vacated by the Habitat for Humanity.
When we moved out of the Belmont Arts Center in that neighborhood, we came over to the Long Hollow neighborhood, and we got this property from the city, and part of the idea was that we would expand the Arts Center and create an actual arts district here in Long Hollow, which is pretty close to downtown. So the idea is revitalizing the neighborhood, making it a vibrant arts community.
Entry fees into the Hot Glass Cold Brew event are considered a donation that gets you a handmade glass and all the beer and food you can get. The donations also directly support the Arts Center programs and assist the center in paying hefty art and building costs. I got a chance to learn glass blowing up close and personal. My piece wasn't what you would call beautiful, but I suppose the Arts Center is where creatives learn to be creative. I'm Sarah Richards reporting for Argo News.
Did you know that Pensacola is one of the oldest
about the history that surrounds them?
Argo News reporter Amanda Diamond will tell you more.
Did you know that Pensacola is one of the oldest settlements in the United States? Downtown Pensacola has a rich history that started in 1559.
Well, this is Historic Pensacola. We're a museum complex, and we consist of several different buildings. We actually give guided tours of 4 buildings. The Lavallee Cottage, just to my right here, built in 1805. The Door House, built in 1871. Old Christ Church, built in 1832. And the Le Rocheboeuf House, built in 1890. In addition to the guided tour, we also give access to 5 self-guided museums. And they are a mixture of different topics. One of them is the Museum of Industry, which covers 3 of the biggest industries in Pensacola after the Civil War, which would have been brickmaking, lumber, and fishing. And then there's also the Museum of Commerce, which gives people an idea of what sort of businesses were in Pensacola in the late Victorian period and early 20th century. In addition to doing guided tours and having your self-guided museums, we also operate the T.T. Wentworth Museum, which actually just went through a major renovation in November and has a completely redone first floor. And that museum, specifically the first floor exhibit, is meant to give people an idea of where Pensacola came from, basically, how it got started, and where it's been over the last 450 or so years. We also actually have living history programming, and what that entails is we have different living history interpreters out here. We do different programming throughout the day. It ranges from colonial cooking in the kitchen right behind me here to spinning using a drop spindle and spinning wheel. It includes gardening and beekeeping and sewing and just general daily living. Occasionally we do things like candle making, and even Spanish soldiering programs. So we always try to throw in a little something different in there. But every program we do is meant to give people an idea of what life was like for Pensacola colonists, how they managed to survive in what was a pretty rough life for them during the time.
The Pensacola Village is open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm Amanda Diamond reporting for Argo News.
With summer quickly approaching, you may be looking out for a new band. Argo News reporter Shannon Hemmings has more on the story.
Are you ready for the riot?
I formed Gypsy Riot in July of 2012, and it's a completely different band than it was whenever it started. I've gone through a couple of member changes, but this one's really great. I'm super happy with all of my guys, and we started out playing some smaller venues just around Alabama and a little up into Arkansas, and then we ended up playing Captain Fun's at Pensacola Beach, and they asked us to do a house gig. And so we all moved down here to Pensacola and started doing that. We were there all year until September. We're working on original stuff, but you know, that's coming in the future. We're still trying to really get our cover show perfected before we start anything like that. I think for anybody, any musician who's wanting to start their own band, just get out and do it, you know? Find people with similar tastes and people that you get along with, because you're gonna be spending a lot of time with them. But, you know, get in your garage or in your living room and start jamming out together and find out what works. Whether it's original music or cover music, just figure out what you want your sound to be and start putting it out there. And you know, the best thing to do is talk to bars and talk to club owners and talk to people who frequent these places a lot and try to get your foot in the door.
For more information on Gypsy Riot, you can visit them on their Facebook page, facebook.com/The Gypsy Riot. I'm Shannon Hemmings, reporting for Argo News.
Argo News reporter Najee Moye has another way for you to get some music into your life.
Are you looking for a place on campus to bust a move?
The Argonauts started in 2012, last year, like officially our name. But the dance club has been around since I think the 80s, actually. And Miss Kim started it, and she's our dance coordinator still today. So we dance at I guess Argo Palooza and like little events here, and we perform at the basketball games, so that's really fun. 7:30 to about like 9, Tuesday and Wednesday. You join dance club first, and you come every Tuesday, and then we host tryouts, I think once a semester, and then you just audition. Well, just willing to learn, really, and then executing the choreography and smiling, I guess. That's kind of big. Like Black Eyed Peas, lyrical stuff. I don't know, just whatever we're feeling. Okay. For basketball games, we do kind of jazz, like sassy jazz, and then for like club, we do hip hop stuff, and then like for a recital, we kind of focus on lyrical. Yeah, we're hoping, like kind of like UDA stuff, like the cheer dance stuff, but we'll see. That's in the future. Usually, like high schools are kind of like Indianettes and whatever. We just added ets to Argo, but we liked it.
To join the Argonauts, you first must go to the dance club, which is on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 7:30 in the Green Studio at the HLS facility. I'm Najee Moye, reporting for Argo News.
If you're looking for some new art to explore, Argo News reporter Seth Patterson may have found something new for you to enjoy.
Science, technology, engineering, and math. What can bring all these things together? Art.
The STEAM exhibit is an interdisciplinary collaboration between science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. And the idea was to try and find some kind of common link between these different disciplines. And one of the things I was really interested in seeing was how does creativity within these fields lead to innovation, positive change, and just qualitative improvement in life. The mediums, it's kind of a clever acronym, so it is any field in science, technology, we have IHMC being part of this exhibition, engineering, any mediums of art from electronic all the way back to traditional drawing and painting, and then of course mathematics. The STEAM exhibition was developed in-house. I developed the concept last year and began inviting artists from across the country, and then eventually from several other different countries as well. We have an artist named Omar Golan, who is based right now in Brooklyn, but he's from Israel. And his work deals with certain social issues regarding self and identity. We also have an artist who's got the piece behind me right now, who is based in Paris, France right now. The interactive components of this exhibition, I think, follow a lot of the interesting trends in contemporary museum and gallery settings, in that a lot of the exhibit elements are interactive, they're participatory, and it engages people on multiple sensory levels.
To learn more about the STEAM exhibition and other upcoming shows here at UWF's Art Gallery, be sure to check out tag82uwf.wordpress.com. And that's the way the art steams. This is Seth Patterson reporting for Argo News. So Sarah, my girlfriend's birthday is coming up and I don't know what to get her yet.
You know, Seth, you should print her something.
Print her? Like what?
Well, you should ask Graham Clark with our next story.
If you're a student, chances are you've printed something. Have you ever printed a mustache before?
Try to work closely with all the different departments in the university, and we have a lot of art students come in the Sky Lab, and they have 4 3D printers in the art department. That was the main idea, was to sort of help support that program and other programs, like they have some in anthropology also. So it's to support instructional programs here at the university. The sky's the limit. If you have a good imagination, you can use 3D printing, design 3D software. Just about anything you can design could be made. If they have their model already, we can set it up in Makerware. That's the 3D printing software that's sort of the interface in between the computer and the MakerBot printer. We just take it into that, and from there we can see how much the object is going to weigh. We can get a good estimate of that and the time it will take, and then we could come up with a price on what it will cost to print the object. The main goal here was to support innovative instruction here at UWF with this, and so we haven't really gone as far as to thinking about opening it up to the public. We haven't decided that we're not going to open this up to the public, but at this point we're just focusing on students.
If you're a student at the University of West Florida and this looks like something you'd like to do, come to the John C. Pace Library at the Sky Lab. I'm Graham Clark, reporting for Argo News.
Could your communication skills use some improvement?
Argo News reporter Chris Thrasher has more information about the UWF project meant to do just that.
Students at the University of West Florida generally have good writing skills, but there's room for improvement.
So right now we're looking at data that we obtain from our stakeholders, our external stakeholders, regarding our students' communication skills. So we looked at feedback that we'd received from employers and graduate schools from the last 2 years as to how they rated our students' communication skills, those that came to a career fair or a professional and grad school fair. And they always rate our students' communication skills as good, which is great, but the quality enhancement plan is all about finding something that we can enhance. So the QEP specifically will measure communication skills for professional readiness. So will a student know how to communicate when they get on the job? What's most important to communicate? When should I communicate it? How should I communicate it? We're finding a lot of students tend to want to put things in email versus having a face-to-face conversation. And that's not always the best medium to get your point across. For those interested in writing or research, even putting together some budgetary plans for what it will mean to implement some of these programs, those are what we are looking for right now. There is a website, it's uwf.edu/quality enhancement, and it's QEP 2015 is the link. And on that link, people can self-nominate themselves to serve on one of the teams, or they can nominate someone else if they feel that they'd like to do that.
Faculty, staff, and students are coming together to promote educational experiences that will make students more likely to impress potential employers. I'm Christopher Thrasher, reporting for Argo News.
With this semester and school year coming to an end, organizations all over campus are busier than ever. And one of those organizations is UWF's Honor Council. Here's Argo News reporter Joanne Broxton with more.
When it comes to the Honors Department, many people think of the experiences and opportunities offered to its students, but not many people realize there's a social side too.
Honors Council is a part of the Honors Program, and it's the student group from the Honors Program that provides students with service, fundraising, and social events to participate in. The purpose of Honors Council is to provide students with those events so that they may interact in the program as a whole, and rather than just being a student who is smart, they're also a student who has a life outside of that. A student can become involved in Honors Council by being a part of the Honors Program, and then they can get involved in a committee, or they can just come out to our weekly meetings on Tuesday nights. Some big upcoming events that we have, we're actually leading up into the home stretch, so within the next 2 weeks we have Formal and Relay for Life. We actually are having them on the same weekend, and this year Formal and Relay are coinciding with their themes, so we're going to be doing a Dr. Seuss themed Formal here in Argo, and we're going to have a lot of games and activities for the students to do, as well as Relay, since the theme for Relay for Life this year is Cancer Isn't Fair and is carnival themed. We're going to be playing on that Dr. Seuss theme for that as well to double up, so it's a way for our committees to work together. I really hope that by students being a part of Honors Council, they get that feel of the family. That's what Honors is all about. We're about being a family and being a community. We don't want anyone to feel excluded. So by being involved in Honors Council, that gives you a way to connect with those. So our freshmen can connect with our seniors, and our sophomores can connect with our juniors. And so you aren't just going with your own class and with the people that you started with. You're with all of the people who are in the program so that you can feel like you're welcomed and a part of something.
There's so much going on in the Honors Department, maybe you should think about joining too. I'm Joanne Broxton, reporting for Argo News.
One major student organization on campus puts on a lot of free events for students throughout the school year. Argo News reporter Rebecca Bartley has more about that organization.
If you're a UWF student like me, you probably see these posters all over campus. But what is CAB?
So CAB is the Campus Activity Board, right? And they're a board, an executive board of students who lead committees and volunteers of other students to put on events for the entire campus. So the whole point is that we want our students at UWF to feel the connection to this school, to this campus, to have free events that they can go to get involved on campus, from every level of just showing up and being a participant and being entertained, having a night of fun with their friends, to being able to socialize and make new friends, and then also the opportunities for leadership within, because it's an actual student organization as well. So having them become volunteers and then become working on events, and then maybe being on the executive board and actually programming these events for everyone. This year, we wanted to go with some consistency in CAB. So we decided for this year, we're going to do one event a week, every week for the entire year. So we really wanted to program consistently throughout the year and let students know, hey, every week there's going to be something for you. Every week there's a free event that you can attend. It's always on Thursday nights at 8:30. So you always know, you won't get confused. CAB After Dark has been around for about 4 years, and this is the largest event on campus, largest student-run for-student event. There's also really big events. Some of our sporting events, orientation obviously is huge, but those aren't all students, right? So, or our students at least. So this is the biggest UWF student event of the entire year. We're expecting about 2,500 students to come on April 25th from 7 to 11 right out in the Commons parking lot. And this year, in the past, it's been kind of a carnival-ish theme. We had some rides and things going on. This year, we're taking it more in the block party direction.
If you'd like to learn more about CAB's upcoming events, including CAB After Dark, you can view them all at the CAB website listed below. I'm Rebecca Bartley, reporting for Argo News.
Student Government Association's annual elections have just passed, but Argo News reporter Lauren Tannenbaum has more on how to vote in the future and why you should.
Student government elections are right around the corner. Are you ready?
Elections are actually next Monday through Wednesday. It's March 31st through April 2nd. Students can vote in 4 different ways. They can vote in 3 locations on campus. They're going to be out in front of the library, they're going to be in the Commons Breezeway, and they're going to be at the HLS Rec Center. And then from there, if a student isn't able to get to one of those 3 voting locations, they can actually vote online through their MyUWF account, just searching SGA or searching SGA Elections. I think it's important that everyone votes, because if you don't, you're pretty much wasting your voice as a student to pick who you want to see run your campus and run SGA for you. I think it's important that everyone votes, because without you voting, you lose your voice. You don't have a say in who is getting elected to the office. So if a student doesn't vote, you're pretty much null and voiding yourself from the whole argument of, hey, I didn't like this person who got elected, but I didn't also voice my reason on choosing the other person to get elected. So I think as a student, you should vote. You should at least voice something in terms of who you think should be your elected officials in SGA, in any organization, and not just SGA. So I think if a student isn't voting, at least encourage them to learn about the issues that are happening on campus and learn about each different candidate. And if he still doesn't choose, like if he doesn't believe one of those 2 candidates are fit for the position, then I don't think he should vote at all. A student who isn't involved in the SGA, quote unquote, technically is still involved, because it's the Student Government Association. We are a body of students that are there to be helping students. So if you have a problem, you see something that you want changed, you bring it to your elected officials, and they from there have an obligation, because they ran and they're in those positions, to take that information and bring it to someone higher or someone like them and make those changes happen.
Make sure that your voice is heard. Vote in the annual student government elections March 31st through April 2nd. I'm Lauren Tannenbaum reporting for Argo News.
An awkward topic is making its way to a stage near you. Argo News reporter Nicole Campbell has more on the story.
An organization at the University of West Florida is bringing some not-so-talked-about issues to life.
The Vagina Logs is a show of female empowerment. It's a mixture of lady talk and sexual assault awareness, and I think it's a really important show. When I was a freshman, my really good friend and somewhat mentor, Shannon Hemmings, talked me into auditioning. And ever since, it's just become a really important part of being an Argonaut, and I just want to make it amazing for everyone that's in it. Some specific duties are running rehearsals, casting, making sure that everyone has the correct piece that they're in, and that if they need help, I'm there for them. Some difficulties are going from 4 e-board members to 2. It's been a lot of work, but I think we've made it work. I think a lot of people walk in expecting to see a show of people talking about vaginas, and I think they walk away having their minds changed and maybe being a little bit better educated on some issues that are not just female issues, but everyone's issue. I think it's different. It's completely student run. We do have an academic advisor, but she's very hands-off, lets us do our own thing, and it's not specific to one group of people. It's open to everyone. I think personally, it's shown me that there are people on this campus and in this community that have dealt with a lot of the same things that I've gone through, and it shows me that there's that support group. Even though a lot of the times you just meet these people, you have that instant connection, and you'll keep it throughout the rest of your life.
So come on out and see the Vagina Logs for yourself. You might learn something you didn't know before. I'm Nicole Campbell reporting for Argo News.
Spring graduation is coming up, and many graduates may find themselves looking for new places to live.
Argo News reporter James Miles has more information about finding a place to live.
No one likes moving, but if you find the right place, it can be worth the trouble.
I've been in leasing for over 4 years now. I started off as a leasing agent, and now I'm an assistant manager. And the most change has been within the industry. We've had changes in how we operate, changes in what we require, such as renter's insurance. We also are charging for more things now than when I started off, like utilities. Some of them used to be included, and now they're not. Applying for a lease is really simple. You come visit our office, tour an apartment, and you decide what you want. Fill out the application. You provide us with your current address, your vehicle information, your ID number, your basic demographic information, social security number, and birthday, things like that, and pay for your application to be ran. We run your credit. We do a background check. We look at rental history. We do we check check writing history, and we look at rent to income ratio. So that will determine your score, and your score determines your deposit. For us, felony on the background, automatic denial, owing another rental company or money or having an eviction. Also, if the credit is just horrible, that can sometimes cause it to be denied. But credit is more subjective, mainly for those three things: eviction, owing another rental company money, and felonies are all automatic denials. For us, it's 30 to 45 days because we know that far ahead of time what will be available, as we only require a 30-day notice from our residents. But again, with different companies, that can be different because some companies may require a 60-day notice. Therefore, you might want to look at least 2 months ahead of time.
Good luck in your search for the next roof over your head. I'm James Miles reporting for Argo News.
Disciplinary actions have long been used in schools, but does it help students?
Argo News reporter Daniel Lynham tells us about one school's attempt at something different.
How can you reinforce positive behavior in students?
PBS is our positive behavior support program. So what we want to do is, instead of just coming in and having an expectation for a student to automatically know how we want them to behave and how we want them to respond to us, we want to help teach that behavior to them so that they can be more successful in the real world. Swamp Swag is a ticket basically that our students receive whenever they are exemplifying our positive behavior expectations for our high school, which are being responsible, respectful, safe, and proud. And so if you have an issue with a student who's being tardy, and then you address them about the tardy, and you get the opportunity to talk with them about what's going on and why they're tardy, and show that you care, and then let's say, you know, the next week the kid is not tardy at all, and he's alleviated that problem for you and for him, then you can reward them by giving them a Swamp Swag and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that you've been on time all week and I'm really proud of you for changing that behavior. So it's more about motivating them to change that behavior and then recognizing that they've changed the behavior versus you're tardy, you're getting a referral, I'm mad at you, but then when they change it, you never say anything to them. So what we do with the Swamp Swag tickets, we have a school store, and our school store has anything in it from school supplies to snacks to apparel and stuff for our school that represent our school, but also we have Lord of the Rings things and stuff like that, memorabilia that kids can get. Last year, at the end of last year when we began this process, the biggest issue we had with students and with teachers, their feedback was respect. This year we don't have that issue. Looking at the data, respect is barely an issue. Referrals have dropped tremendously, and as far as when it comes to disrespect referrals, we barely have it. They're not even in our top 5, and they were in our top 3 last year. Overall, it's really been a great program this year for kids and for teachers.
After 1 year, Escambia High School has seen a tremendous turnaround in student behavior thanks to their positive behavior support system. I'm Daniel Lynham reporting for Argo News.
There are lawyers, doctors, and firefighters that all serve a purpose to help others. But who are they forgetting? Argo News reporter Jenna Lamy has more on the story.
Sometimes we can't do everything on our own. It's always nice to have a helping hand.
We have an amazing simulation lab, which we are in right now. And we have these mannequins that basically can act like a real person, and our teacher can program certain parameters, and the mannequin will, for instance, have high blood pressure, or their pulse will be too high or too low. And we basically come in and practice as if we were in the hospital. So we have to do everything that we would do in the hospital, such as washing our hands and following protocol and identifying our patients with their name and date of birth and all of that. And then we just basically act out a scenario to where we don't know really what's going on with the patient, and we're trying to figure it out, and we're trying to take care of the patient to the best of our ability given the circumstances and the knowledge we have about the patient. This also gives us a chance to practice the skills that we learn in the lab, for instance, IV insertions, NG tube insertions, things of that nature. You cannot do everything for people. You cannot save the world. You cannot stop every addicted person from abusing whatever substance they addicted to, but you want to. And sometimes you just got to step back and realize that even though you're trying your best, you may not be able to save everybody. And I think to me, that is the hardest part. But on the other side, you have a very rewarding career just because you are able to make a difference every day, and every encounter with the patient is an opportunity for you to do something good.
The nursing students work extremely hard to learn the skills they need to know for their future career. With hard work, anything is possible. I'm Jenna Alami, reporting for Argo News.
If you like horses, Argo News reporter Jordan Grinnell may have the story for you.
Do you like horses? How about showing off horses?
We are the Northwest Florida Quarter Horse Association, and the intention is to promote the breed and show the versatility of the quarter horse. This club has been in existence for about 35 years, and the shows at one time were in Mariana, and we've moved them to Pensacola about 5 years ago. But just for the horse owners to be able to get together to show their horses, and they're earning points on these horses every show they go to, which increases the value of that animal. They earn the points. It's based on the number of horses that are in the class, and it could be a 6-point class, a 5-point, or 4. The more horses, the more points. So they like to go to the big shows where they can, accumulate more points. They are registered quarter horses, and they're shown in the Western Disciple with the English. We've even got jumping now. It's just a variety of classes. The halter classes are much like a confirmation class in a dog show. They're judged on their appearance. We have horses coming in from Illinois. They'll come in from Texas, Georgia, North and South Carolina, South Florida, Louisiana. We draw from a large area. They have to be a member of the AQHA, the American Quarter Horse Association. Their horse has to be registered, and then they come in the day of the show and they go ahead and register for the classes then. But before they come in, they make a reservation for their stalls and their RV hookups. It's a lot of fun. It's a family atmosphere. We always have a fun class going on. Tomorrow night we're going to have a chili dinner, just a get-together for the exhibitors when they first come in, and it's a lot of camaraderie. If anybody likes horses, they need to come out. They'll get to see some beautiful animals and meet some nice people.
So join the Northwest Quarter Horse Association for some showing and fun. I'm Jordan Grinnell with Argo News. Giddy up!
The UWF community is making strides to bring awareness to sexual violence. Argo News reporter Max Nassity has more on the story.
1 out of 4 women are victims of sexual violence. Luckily, events like Take Back the Night help spread awareness of this issue and also help survivors.
Every year we try to, we always talk about the importance of supporting and believing survivors, because we know that approximately 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 college women will be sexually assaulted while in college. Other things, though, that we are incorporating into this year's program is an emphasis on media literacy, particularly as it relates to music and lyrics. We have a few other advertisements and sitcoms where we have some examples of things that really support rape culture. So we look at the sexual objectification of people, we look at rape jokes, and the high kind of rate that we see those and how those things support rape culture. So we'll be talking about that, as well as bystander intervention and different ways that people can intervene, including by just simply having conversations about negative messages that they might be getting in media or elsewhere. There's a lot that we hope to accomplish with this year's Take Back the Night. I think just planting the seed of media message. I don't think a lot of people think about that when they think about rape prevention. So I hope just planting that seed, which I believe is really kind of a critical thinking area. It's not one of these, oh, you can just do this. No, it's a lifetime. It's a lifestyle of questioning these messages. So I hope starting people on that. I also hope understanding what they can do to support survivors, that survivors will come forward. The more survivors come forward, the more that we know that we'll be able to be dealing with this issue. And I think feeling a part of a movement and a community and just continuing with that.
Even though sexual violence is an unfortunate reality, events like Take Back the Night raises awareness of this issue and also offers a voice for survivors. I'm Max Snatsity, reporting for Argo News.
That's all for this edition of Argo News. I'm Jenna Alami, and we will see you next time.